Jared.
You know, I appreciate that you're working on kind of finding out what's causing some of these changes, and whether it's autism and some of the others. But there's some that we basically know, and yet nothing still seems to change. And this one you mentioned, peanuts, and it just drives me crazy. You know, in Israel, the kids all eat the baba snacks, and they have peanuts, and they have 1/10 the peanut allergy rates that we do. Even the therapies for peanuts here, for peanut allergies here, are like these $700 a month pills that basically have small doses of peanuts. I mean, the whole thing's absurd. The pharmaceutical industry just packages up a teeny amount of peanut and sells it back to you for $700. I mean, we know that one. So why aren't we fixing that already and making sure kids are getting exposure to peanuts at a young age, like I did and my parents did? And I mean, it just sort of worries me that even when we know some of the others, nothing will happen. So like, at least some of the ones we know, why aren't they fixed yet, and how can we fix them?
We don't really know what's causing the peanut allergy epidemic. A hypothesis.
Look at the Israeli data, because I mean, it's 1/10 of ours. And basically, a very most popular kid snack is a peanut snack, and that's what is generally accepted as the reason.
If you just let me finish, that's a correlation. It doesn't prove causation. So we need good studies, and that is a hypothesis. That's a very popular one. There are no allergies in the Amish community in this country, and they eat peanuts any more than other Americans. And you know, I'll just tell you my own anecdote, and this doesn't prove causation. But I have a son who had severe, deadly anaphylactic peanut allergies. He made 22 emergency room visits before he was 2 years old, because he'd go to a birthday party and eat a cake, and there was nuts in the cake, you know, or there had been nuts cooked in the pan that made the cake before. And so I paired up with a guy, with David Koch, who I was in litigation with at the time, and who had a son who was born exactly the same time as my son and had the same level of peanut allergies. We started a group called the Food Allergy Initiative. We raised $100 million, and we poached the best allergy scientists from all over the world. We brought them to Mount Sinai in New York, and they had a laboratory that I visited where they would induce food allergies and other allergies in rats and feed them different things to try to find out what treated it. And I asked the scientists there, how do you induce an allergy in a rat? And he said, it's formulaic. You take an aluminum adjuvant and inject it into that rat with a protein. If it's a peanut protein, that rat will have a lifetime allergy to peanuts. If it's a dairy protein, he'll have a lifetime allergy to dairy. If it's a latex protein, he'll have a lifetime allergy to latex. That's the same aluminum adjuvant that's in the hepatitis B vaccine. We're giving, and many of those vaccines contain peanut oil excipients. There's a study by two scientists called Mawson and Cowlings, one of them from the University of Mississippi and one of them from Britain. And they looked at the same issue, and they showed that it's not only when you give what's in the shot when you give that injection, but also what's in the ambient environment at the time. So that if there's a Timothy weed outbreak, at the time you get that injection, they found that you could have a lifetime allergy to Timothy weed. And vaccinated children, according to their study, are 30 times more likely to have allergic rhinitis than unvaccinated children. So we need to look at the aluminum in the vaccines and see if we need to look much closer, and we're doing that today at NIH, to see if that has anything to do with this explosion of allergies that began in 1989, which was the year they expanded the vaccine schedule.
I just had, we obviously the data, wherever the data leads us, but in Israel, they do use the same Hep B vaccines as...
They don't use anywhere nearly as much, and they don't give them early in life. We give that hepatitis B vaccine during the first 24 hours of life. No other country in the world does that.